Where's this post again? Here we go. And now we are finally alive. Doot. Doot doots. And now to tag all the people. Heather. I probably should mention people's names now that we're live. Yeah, it's fine. And as long as it's not full names or whatever. Do this person. And this person. And this person. And this person. Not the person I intended, but sure. We'll add them in. Blee, blee. One more for good measure. And then there we go. Okay, now posted. Okay. Jeez. I was like, today was supposed to be an easy day. What the hell? What the hell? Okay. Woo! I still can't get over that weird Ric Flair what was it? Cumberland Farms breakfast sandwich commercial where there's like twins of him. It's like he cloned himself or something. Oh, it was there were two Ric Flairs. Yeah, and I don't know if it was for like a 2 for deal or something. So there were 2 of them. And it was just like it was just so bizarre. Better than Macho Man Randy Savage? Better than Mr. T? I mean, Mr. T was an integral part of the World of Warcraft marketing campaign. And what class would he be? So Courtney, so Blizzard, FYI, we can't hear anyone but Sean. Okay, hang on. That's weird because voice meter output. Put there. Well, that's weird because I can hear you guys. Advanced audio properties. Hang on, there might be a settings thing in OBS. Let me just make sure. Desktop audio, voice meter. Let's just see. Hang on, folks. Oh, the William Shatner one. That one's great. Okay. Output device. Voice meter, voice meter. All right. What the hell? Yeah, that's super weird. Oh, you're right. I'm not seeing output device cube. Oh. I wonder. Can one of you guys talk?
Yeah, it's me, your boy.
Okay. All right. All right. Okay. So I think that fixed it.
We fixed it.
I think that fixed it.
Sweet.
Okay. Yes, it must have fixed it. Yeah. Heather said hi, Josh. Okay.
There
Good.
we go.
Yeah. This is what happens when Windows freaking updates. I hate Windows updates. And I hate everything. This is the return of Salty Sean, just in time for game night tomorrow night. We're just gonna build up salt meter. If I was a class in World of Warcraft, it would.
Salt. What's your ultimate ability when your salt meter is full?
It would be the Topaz Dragon's dehydration breath. So, fun fact. So, a bit of D&D lore for folks. In 2nd edition, and then later on in 3rd edition, they didn't really do it in 4th edition. There were dragons known as gem dragons. They were considered the 3rd variety of dragon. They were all neutral alignments, and they all had psychic abilities. So they were supposed to be like the 3rd counterpart to chromatics and metallics. So they were gems. There were 5 varieties, much like the 5 varieties of the other dragons. There were amethyst dragons, which were considered the leaders. They had I think they had telekinetic abilities, and they spit a violet lozenge that then exploded with force. At least in 2nd edition, that's what they did. And I think in other editions, it was just like a cone of force, which was not as cool or exciting. You had emerald dragons, which were paranoid and were basically masters of traps, and had some kind of weird like repulsion thing. There were sapphire dragons, which had a keening wail, which I think was fear. And then you had topaz dragons, which lived underwater and basically had a dehydration, a cone of dehydration that would just leach water out of things. And then crystal dragons, which, were made of crystals and had light-based effects. So they would like have a cone of radiant energy or something. But yeah, so that would be the ultimate power, is Salty Sean would just dehydrate, desiccate. That's what it was. I think depending on the edition, it was either a cone of dehydration or a cone of desiccation, depending on how metal they wanted to sound. Because like cone of dehydration,
More
it's
metal,
like, well,
more better.
Yeah, cone of dehydration, have a glass of water. Cone of desiccation, well, okay. It's going to require a little bit more than a glass of water to fix that. But so, anyway, welcome to the pre-show. We're not going to have a very long one because we're like an hour late.
In a death spiral of Ric Flair videos on YouTube right now. I can't escape.
Oh no, that's right. We have to. So anyway, we were discussing the World of Warcraft marketing campaign featuring celebrities, and I think Courtney's down the rabbit hole watching those right now.
No. I just watched the Vern Troyer one and the William Shatner one.
There was a William Shatner one, Vern Troyer, Mr. T. There was Chuck Norris. There was Jean-Claude Van Damme, I believe. I remember there was one for the European market that was some guy that was like famous for like Spanish soap operas. That was a paladin. And then there was Vic did, it wasn't an official one. He did his own.
Yeah.
And I think that was it. That might have been it.
I think one of the guys on The Sopranos did one.
Yes, that one was like a it wasn't a full one.
It wasn't a full one.
But he did like it was like a Goodfellas reference.
He did The Sopranos, but he's also plays guitar in Bruce Springsteen's band.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I forget his name.
It was something to the effect of like, he was like, just when I was out, they pulled me back in.
Yeah.
So
that is WoW. That's my WoW
pretty much
story.
I was going to say, I believe that's exactly what a couple of you, like, that you two have both told me at one point.
And there was also a Toyota commercial.
What?
Yes, there was a Toyota
Oh, you know what?
commercial.
I kind of remember
Yeah,
that.
it was a bunch of guys, and they were they were going to fight a black dragon, like full-size adult black dragon, and they summon up their mounts, and this one guy summons a Toyota. It was like a Toyota RAV4 in the game, and he's like driving around, and he's like, "There's no trucks in World of Warcraft," and he jumps into the dragon's mouth in the truck. Dragon eats the whole truck, and then he like explodes out the front with a big dragon heart in the bed of the truck, and he like, "Did you see me lay down the law? I am the lawgiver."
It's kind of a riff on the whole Leroy Jenkins thing, I think.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
But it was like, that's such a weird
Oh, I can't wait to do UBRS. Great.
So, yeah. Okay. Why don't we get started?
Sure.
So, all right. Going live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Coming up on episode 157, weird Nintendo Switch rings, FF7 hype, tentacles and brains, and much, much more on the 8-Bit Adventures podcast. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 8-Bit Adventures podcast, bringing you the latest and greatest geeky news of the week. I am your host, Sean Hayes, and with me are my wonderful co-hosts, as always, Courtney Bolin.
Hey, everybody.
And Josh York.
I think I forgot to switch my laundry over.
Oh, no. That is quite possibly the weirdest intro bit that Josh has done.
Ever done.
On the history
Really?
of him being on the show. I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
Was
Everything else,
tame.
at least everything else is on brand.
Yeah. Yeah, that
So.
was the most off-brand, I think.
That was the most on brand for me. Like, that's the most boring vanilla. Like, that's like real life means the most boring vanilla thing ever. That's totally actual me on
Had
brand.
nothing to do with Xenogears off brand.
Yes, okay.
So,
Or Metal Gear, yeah, okay.
or Metal Gear, yeah. So, yes, we are, for the live audience on Twitch, we are starting very late because Windows is dumb and updating is dumb. And
Well,
you
just think
shouldn't
of this.
do it on podcast
Could
days.
be on a Mac. Things could be worse. Come on.
I could be, as I was from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. today at work. And it wasn't even a current Mac. It was like a circa 2008 Mac.
Oof.
Yay! Yay me. So,
Oof. Man.
but we're not talking about any of that stuff.
No, we're not.
We are talking about some weird things. Like this weird Nintendo Switch commercial thing. So it was a YouTube video that said like a new way to experience Nintendo Switch. And without any context, just showed these people with like, it looks like a resistance band in the form of a ring that also had a Joy-Con clip that a Joy-Con like snaps into, and then a band that wraps around your leg that a Joy-Con snaps into. Yeah, no context whatsoever. They didn't say what it was for. Just all these people like, you know, holding the ring or like compressing it or extending it or running around with it or whatever.
It's gonna be some fitness crap.
Current prevailing theory is that it's some sort of special attachment for Mario and Sonic at the Olympics.
Oh, that actually makes sense.
Or that this could be some weird new like Switch Sports or Switch Fit or something.
Okay.
Yeah. I know a lot of people on like Reddit and everything would be are really excited for the prospect of like Wii Sports to get re-released. I don't know if this is going to be that. Because a ring didn't really mesh well with a lot of the sports they had in there, like boxing or golf or baseball.
Yeah.
This seems more, so yeah, the Olympic thing seems more in line because like, you know, you could do like archery, or they had weird stuff that could be like with swimming or
Well, what about if
gymnastics
it was
or
like with like a
weightlifting.
Wii Fit type of thing?
I mean, it could be Wii Fit as well.
Like
And
that's with how that did the
yeah,
yeah.
I mean, that's the other prevailing theory, is that it's another fitness type thing. And of course, Nintendo said more info Thursday, September 12th. So we'll find out tomorrow, or for podcast
Yeah.
listeners, today.
Yeah.
So yeah. Yeah, it looks weird. I don't think this is going to be something that I will be picking up. I don't know. I think there's other things that I would rather spend my money on than like a resistance band.
Yeah, it's definitely looking like, cuz I've just rewatched the commercial and it looks like some sort of family like game thing. So like mini games or exercise stuff like mixed with mini games. I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea. It's going to be weird.
Nintendo's always being weird.
Yeah.
It's kind of the one thing we can count on.
Want to be real weird? If they did a Xenogears remaster.
Yeah.
Pretty weird. They should do that.
That would be awesome. Yeah. So this is related to that, unrelated to this weird resistance band ring thing. So on the Nintendo subreddit, they do this thing called Throwdown Thursday, where it's basically like you vent about stuff, and you do it in all caps, and you vent about Nintendo related stuff.
I love all caps.
So I basically made a vent about how, you know, Square better bring Chrono Trigger to the Super NES Online service. And somebody pointed out that since they did Trials of Mana as a remaster and like did this whole thing and are doing that, Square might be incentivized to do the same thing with Chrono Trigger instead of including it in the collection.
They're doing Trials of Mana as a remake.
Well, yeah, or that's what I mean, as a remake. Yeah. And so
they already did basically Chrono Trigger remake for Steam, didn't they?
Sort of. That was more of just like a port.
Or you know what I'm thinking of? Sorry, I'm thinking of the Secret of Mana remake.
Oh yeah.
The character has similar hair to Chrono.
Yes. Yeah, but yeah, Trials of Mana they're completely redoing as like a 3D.
Yeah.
You know, adventure type game and everything. But at the very least, if they don't do a remaster, they'll do a full thing like that for Chrono Trigger. And I was like, you know what? Honestly, that makes me 3 or 4 for 4 for E3 predictions for the year, so I'll take it. As Josh and I noted last week, there's maybe not quite a remaster. I might consider it that, but for Assassin's Creed 4 coming to Switch, bundled with Assassin's Creed Rogue, because it's including all the DLC and all that stuff and everything. Yeah.
Nice.
So, yeah, just because of we were talking about, I think because Xenosaga was one of your, I can't remember if it was one of your crazy.
They're not gonna do Xenosaga
or whatever we were talking about.
Hey, Xenogears is probably one of my weird picks.
Yeah, one of our weird E3 picks that was totally out there.
Yeah.
And that specifically that was coming to Switch. So it's like, you know what, while we're talking about it, I just had to throw that little anecdote. Yep. So yeah. But definitely, Square, bring it.
Do Chrono Cross instead.
Do both.
Actually, yeah.
No excuses. No excuses. You made Final Fantasy VIII come back. Give me Chrono Trigger.
True.
Anything is possible.
Yeah.
Yes.
I've been watching that on Twitch a little bit. Some people play the remaster Final Fantasy VIII. The character models are awesome.
I've heard
really
that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm just waiting for like the modders to fix the backgrounds, and then I'm definitely gonna play it. It's gonna be flipping sick.
So, and speaking of Square, so there was another Final Fantasy VII Remake trailer.
Tokyo Game Show.
Yeah, I saw that. Well, because I saw it and I was like, oh, summons. This will look cool. And the summons were like half a second each. I was
Well,
like, I could
yeah,
barely
they
see what was
just-
going on. I was like,
they just
no,
wanted to-
show me the
They
summons.
just want to tease them because they're not that early in the original game. You don't get the summons that early. You get your
Correct.
first summon outside of Midgar from the Chocobo place. Actually, it's a
Yes.
kind of hidden.
And that's the best summon, and then you don't need any other ones until Knights of the Round.
But yeah, I think that's just a tease to say, oh, they're putting summons in it.
100%, yeah.
Yeah, it was nice. They showed a lot of new stuff that they hadn't showed or shown yet on the other trailers. Which
Yeah.
a lot of what they showed in the other trailers is like early on in the game, like the first reactor run,
Mhm.
and this showed much later in the whole Midgar arc, which is interesting.
Yeah.
They definitely teased the whole like Cloud and like the whole weird prostitution thing going on.
Yeah.
People
'Cause I
were
presume
wondering
that-
if they were going to add that
Yeah.
or
I mean,
like
that's
what the deal was going to be with that
yeah.
because it's a really weird
It's a very
part
bizarre section of the game.
of the game.
Yeah.
But I'm glad they're going to kind of keep true to it to at least some extent.
Because like that's where Aerith or Eris or whatever we're calling her gets that's where
they're
she
going
has
Aerith
that
now.
dress, right?
Yeah. That's what that was.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
that
and
weird,
there's
weird guy.
Don
was laughing.
Corneo.
Oh right.
Yeah.
I can't think of that and just not think of Beavis and Butthead.
Cornfolio.
Like just like Don Cornholio.
Some kid in my class had his shirt up on his head
Shirt
like
up
that,
like that.
and I
Oh.
just wanted to call him Cornholio. And like one, I'm like he's not gonna get it, and
But two, he's gonna go home and ask his
yeah, and
parents.
then he's gonna, somebody's
and then
gonna,
his
he's gonna say
parents
something.
would
My
be
teacher
like,
called
"What's
me
going
Cornholio."
on?" Yeah.
Yep.
And considering all their parents are probably about my age,
Yeah.
like oh, they'll know what
Yeah.
I was doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm super hyped. They showed there's definitely a new they showed a character that wasn't in it before. There's like a motorcycle chase is way earlier than it. I don't know. It looks like it's going to be like adding extra motorcycle stuff.
Yeah. And I think those extra characters are like the members of Avalanche that are like just
Right.
those like throwaway
No,
characters.
yeah, I
at the
know
beginning.
that. Jesse Briggs and
Yeah. What's his face?
the Star Wars pilots, Wedge and Biggs.
Yeah.
Jesse, Wedge, and Biggs. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird.
And then the Turks.
Yeah, and then a lot of this was like just introducing all the different Turks, which they
Yeah.
all look good. Everything looks
they look
really,
really
really good. Everything just looks, and those that I think that's all in-game stuff.
Yeah, that's why I'm kind of confused. I'm like, is this supposed to be a gameplay trailer? And I'm like, I don't understand what I'm watching. Like, is this all cutscenes? Is this?
Well, I think it's just the in-game looks so good.
Yeah.
Well, that's like how God of War was. Like God of War was so good, all the cutscenes were just the game. So I mean, I don't know. I didn't think I could be any more hyped for this stupid game, but somehow managed. I just gotta get to March 20th. That's it. Just gotta make it.
Is it March 20th or March 3rd?
Is it the 3rd? I want to say
I
it was
think-
March 20th.
I think they said 3/3/20.
I believe. Oh, it is March 3rd. Holy crap!
There you go. It's another 2 weeks ahead of time.
Okay, like, that's. Even
I think that also puts it on the same day that Animal Crossing comes out.
Prepare to get wrecked. Animal Crossing.
Well, here's the thing. It's you have Final Fantasy VII for the PS4 fans, and then you have Animal Crossing for the Nintendo fans. And I don't know how much crossover you're going to have between those two audiences.
Depends. I mean, I own both consoles.
Yeah, but you're not going to buy Animal Crossing.
I 100% not.
See? So, and yeah, I am hoping that this will come out on PC because, like, I wasn't really paying attention to it before because it's
Yeah,
PS4
come on, what
exclusive.
happened?
But I saw that trailer and I was like, ooh. Hello.
Yeah.
And do I really
like
want to
that-
sink all this time into that game again? Maybe not. Saw this trailer?
Not even the whole game. Just the Midgar part of the game.
Yeah, it's just the
all
Midgar
this first
part,
one's gonna
yeah.
be.
Yep.
They also showed like there's gonna be a lot of mini games and stuff. I think too. They showed like
There was some weird like
darts.
pull-ups.
There is a part I remember there's a part in the game where you're like you got to go to the gym and do some like squats and stuff. I forget what it was,
That's
but there
weird.
was a part. It's that actually
have to go to the gym.
So there's this whole subplot where Tifa or Aerith or one of them gets kidnapped by a pimp, and you got to go rescue them. And you have to get Cloud a dress so he can disguise himself as a woman to sneak in. And there's like a whole bunch of quests to like get all the different things you need to like get the tailor. You got to get the tailor this, so they'll make you the dress. And you got to go to this person to get the thing for the tailor. And part of that was like going to the gym and doing a squat competition or something weird.
You know what? I do remember that. Yeah.
It was this whole weird chain of quests and this whole weird part of the game.
Yeah,
that I didn't understand.
Very odd.
Yeah, when I was 12, I'm like, what is going on?
Yep.
Here, I don't quite fully comprehend this.
Yeah. So, but yeah, everything looks good. I mean, I can't wait until like probably part 2 or 3 when we get remixed music for like Cosmo Canyon.
Yeah,
'cause that's a banging soundtrack there.
The whole soundtrack's great.
Yeah, it is pretty good.
Not as good as 8's soundtrack, but still really good. Hot take. FF8 has the best soundtrack.
But is it better than... I don't know. I don't actually know any music to 6, so...
6 is okay. That was... All the Super Nintendo ones were kind of before I got into it, so I don't have as much...
I keep wanting to say better than 6, and I mean better than Chrono Trigger.
Yeah, better than Chrono Trigger. I don't like Chrono Trigger soundtrack that much. Honestly.
Nice. So yeah. I am what's the right word? Vicariously excited for PS4 fans. That's what I'm thinking of. Yes.
How long did it take for Final Fantasy 15 to go on PC? Maybe like, I don't know if it took like a year, maybe.
That would be fine. There's a lot of things coming out.
Exactly. And 15 got all... 15 was a different game. I don't know if they'll do this with 7, but 15 had a lot of DLC.
Yeah.
And like, they got... the PC version just had everything. Like, all the DLC that had come out and everything was just... It was all included.
Oh, so they did like a Game of the Year... Or not Game of the Year, but like a collector's edition kind of a thing.
Final Fantasy was 15 in that parts of the game were missing and were DLC. After
the
fact.
Yeah.
So like there'd be parts where you're going and your character's like, I've gotta go. And that character in your party would be gone for part of the game and they'd come back and then later on there's like, oh, here's the DLC showing what they did.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah. Also, I didn't have it in the show notes, but Monster Hunter World Iceborne.
Oh.
It's out.
It's here.
It is released.
Okay.
And I keep forgetting because I need to play. Because, they brought back a whole bunch of fan favorites as far as monsters go. Zenogre, Glavius.
Zenogre is a monster name?
Zenogre. Z-I-N.
That sounds like a Pokemon.
Kind of. It's a big old thunder puppy.
Okay.
It's a big old thunder wolf. There's, let's see, what else? Brachydios, that's right. All I could think of was like, I know Dio is in the name because it's required for the Devil JoJo memes. So, and a whole bunch of new monsters as well. So Snow Shark, Big Moose. These are totally the official names that I'm not
called
making
Big
up on the
Moose?
spot. No, it's not called Big Moose. It has some kind of weird monster name, but it's basically a really big moose. So
okay,
that's what I'm calling them. Yeah, there's also some other like Piscine wyvern type thing that has a weird shark fin on its head, and it burrows through snow. So
okay,
yeah. Also, whole using your grappling hook to grapple to monsters' faces and then go ham. So, yeah. And then if you're sword and shield, the best weapon ever, you get all sorts of other cool stuff. That's not my opinion. That's Joe Cat's opinion.
It is.
So, yeah. So that's out. I guess it's doing really well. It's making people not play Dauntless. So, which also had a sort of a content pack where they had a bunch of new trial stuff, including exotic repeaters, which are like little pistol weapons. A lot of that stuff, not enough to get me back to playing, because you have to grind to get the currency to buy those repeaters, as opposed to it being a random drop. So, yeah. And then last up in our news, there was another Unearthed Arcana for Dungeons & Dragons this week. The Aberrant Mind Sorcerer and the Lurker in the Deep Pact Warlock. So, I feel like Aberrant Mind Sorcerer is kind of where they're going to say, like, Mystic's never going to happen. Here's a psychic class. So yeah, the idea is that unlike other kinds of sorcerers where you have a bloodline that grants you your mystical powers, the Aberrant Mind is you were touched by the far realm and you gained psychic abilities.
Okay.
So, allow me to kind of pull up their article. So that we can kind of take a look. Okay, so Aberrant Mind, at first level, you can use bonus action to create a telepathic link with one creature you can see within 30 feet of you. Until the link ends, you can telepathically speak to the target through the link. If it understands at least one language, it can speak back to you telepathically. Lasts for 10 minutes, ends early if you're incapacitated or you die, or you can break the link and establish a different one as a bonus action. So it's just telepathy with one creature at will.
Okay.
You also get bonus psionic spells. So Arms of Hadar, Dissonant Whispers, Calm Emotions, Detect Thoughts, Hunger of Hadar, Sending, everybody's favorite spell, Compulsion, Everard's Black Tentacles, Modify Memory, another favorite of Critical Role fans, and Rary's Telepathic Bond. So a lot of very like psychic focused stuff. You get basically armor class at first level as well, but it's a weird aberrant feature. So you might have an invisible psionic barrier. You might be coated in a viscous slime. You might spontaneously grow scales, or a thickened hide, or something. It gives you a lot of free reign to determine like what kind of weird mutant powers you get, flavor wise. So
Interesting.
At 6th level, when you cast any of the spells you gain from psionic spells, you can cast it by expending a spell slot as normal, or by spending a number of sorcery points equal to the spell's level. If you cast it using sorcery points, it requires no components. So it kind of introduces a way to do psionics a little bit. Although they're still spells. You also gain resistance to psychic damage and have advantage on save throws against being charmed or frightened. At 14th level, as a bonus action, you can spend sorcery points to magically transform your body for 1 minute. For each point you spend, you can gain one of the following benefits of your choice. And these are all very weird stuff. Like, so you gain a swimming speed, and you can breathe water. Gills might grow from your neck or fan out from behind your ears. Your fingers become webbed, or you grow lashing cilia that extend through your clothing. You turn into like a medium-sized paramecium. You gain a flying speed equal to your walking speed and can hover. As you fly, your skin glistens with mucus.
That's not usually what I like to glisten with.
Your body, along with any equipment you're wearing or carrying, becomes slimy and pliable. So you become an ooze. You can move through any space as narrow as 1 inch without squeezing, and you can spend 5 feet of movement to escape from non-magical restraints or being grappled. Your eyes turn black or become writhing sensory tendrils. You are aware of the location of any hidden or invisible creatures within 60 feet of you. So yeah, lots of weird stuff. And then at 18th level, you can become the focal point of a reality warping anomaly. As an action, you can radiate a 20-foot radius aura for 1 minute. Might take the form of a rippling sphere of psychic energy, a fluctuating amoebic gel, or an extrusion of ephemeral parasites or some other manifestation. People treat as difficult terrain. They take psychic damage. You can choose any number of creatures to be safe. As a bonus action, you can end the aura early. If you do so, you and any number of creatures you choose are teleported to a location you can see within 1 mile.
Jesus.
An unwilling creature gets a charisma save to not be teleported. Recharges after a long rest.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah. It's interesting. I kind of like this idea of maybe introducing psychic components to other classes as a way to be like, do we need a separate Psionicist class, or do we want to like have a psychic variation of existing classes?
Yeah. Mystic is broke. The one. I've said it a bunch of times.
Especially when built as a villain.
Well, I mean, I also just broke the rules flat out, like I usually do with a lot of my monsters anyway.
Yeah, but
I mean, I did use Mystic as a base for sure, but I mean,
Yeah, a base.
just-
A base. Sure.
yeah. But yeah, like things like, hey, your AC's just 10 for this attack.
yeah, that's
pretty strong.
that's not cool, bro.
It is awesome. It's great. I really like it.
No, it's not cool.
It is
Not cool, bro.
It's great.
It's being on the receiving end of that. Not cool.
Yeah, it's real fun to play.
So
Yeah.
I
always said like the Mystic they put out on Unearthed Arcana. The problem is it can do too many different things. It's too versatile. I think if they just, and I could have been playing it wrong, but the way I understood how it worked, it seemed like you could just about do whatever you wanted, and it had so many different, I forget what they were called, but like paths or whatever that you could do, like
yes,
and you could, as a bonus action, you could like focus on a different one. So like every turn, like I'm the healer this turn. Oh no, I'm the melee this turn. Nope, I'm the caster this turn.
Yeah, that's a little. The switching is a little too quick.
Granted, maybe I was doing it wrong, but the way I understood it was you just, as a bonus action, change your focus, and that was that.
Yeah, it was definitely strong. So yeah. Next up, we have a new patron for Warlocks, the Lurker in the Deep.
Yeah.
Lurker below.
Creeptastic.
So basically, Lurker in the Deep is reflecting of some primordial, possibly, although that might also apply to a Great Old One.
Yeah, I know.
But so basically, an entity that lurks somewhere deep in the ocean or the elemental plane of water, so like a kraken, an ancient primordial, or a monstrous being from creation's earliest days.
Yansi Ben.
That's air.
Is that the water one? Is that air?
That's the air one.
Which one's water? I don't remember.
I don't know. We haven't encountered it in your game.
I
Yet.
have to look at my Prince of the Apocalypse book.
So
You just gave him ideas, man.
so yeah, several features of this create tentacles or a maw that reach into the world.
Whoa.
The form of these appendages should reflect the nature of your specific patron. For example, a Kraken's Warlock might summon squid-like tentacles, serrated crab claws, or a massive octopus beak, while the servant of a primordial water elemental might create tendrils or swells of living water. So what's funny is like you could have Moana be, because the ocean itself could just be her patron. and thus
I
she could
mean,
be
isn't it
she could be a
already?
warlock. Yeah. So
I
for
mean-
these spells, so you do get, because it's a warlock thing, you get bonus spells. Create or destroy water, thunder wave, gust of wind, silence, lightning bolt, sleet storm, control water, Everard's black tentacles, commune with nature, and cone of cold. So at first level, you also gain the ability to magically summon a spectral tentacle that hits your foes. You summon at a point you can see within
Slap, slap,
60
slap.
feet. It's 10 feet long. It lasts for a minute. And it basically kind of functions like spiritual weapon. So on your turn, you can use a bonus action to move the tentacle and make it attack. It does cold or lightning damage and reduces the target's speed. It's when you reach 10th level, it deals more damage. Let's see. Also at first level...
I'm not liking the looks that this is bringing onto Josh's face.
No, because I just have a really weird character idea for this. Basically, it's like a schoolgirl.
No.
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 We're
No,
not finishing
this is
that on air.
This is not an explicit podcast.
I wasn't gonna be explicit. I'm just saying
No.
No.
the tentacle
We're
thing,
stopping
man.
you
It's
right
just,
there, dude.
No.
the tentacle
Just stop.
thing. I can't.
No.
I'm sorry.
No.
No.
So
And she says like, "Notice me, senpai," and it
No.
her tentacles come out. And it's just like,
oh jeez. So also at first level,
Sorry.
you can
Gods.
you can telepathically communicate with any aberration, beast, elemental, or monstrosity that has an innate swimming speed. While it is within 120 feet of you. That creature can
Interesting.
understand and can respond telepathically. At 6th level, you can breathe air and water, you gain a swimming speed, and resistance to cold damage. I feel like that's kind of a basic package for ocean or water themed things. Is you can breathe water, you gain a swim speed, resist to cold damage. At 6th level, additionally, the tentacle you summon can basically use your reaction to essentially take an attack and like half damage to an ally within 10 feet of it. So like it can interpose itself, intervene, and absorb half of the attack's damage, and doing so like causes it to dissipate. So you can be like, protect me, tentacle, and it will do so. At 10th level, instead of a tentacle, you can summon a maw. Magically draw forth a manifestation of your patron's insatiable hunger. You choose a point within 60 feet for 1 minute. A translucent maw manifests in a 10-foot radius. So think about that. It's a 20-foot wide mouth. Fangly mouth.
Terrifying.
Each creature in the area, strength save or be restrained. And then creatures that start its turn in the area take 3d6 cold or lightning, your choice, when it takes the damage. So you can change it every time. As an action, a creature can repeat the saving throw, ending the restraint on a success. At the start of your turn, if there is a creature in the maw's area, you gain temporary hit points equal to your warlock level. Recharges after a short or long rest.
Oh.
So, at 14th level, you can call upon your patron for aid. It's basically you choose one of the following effects, and it recharges after a long rest. Transport, which is you and up to 5 willing creatures are grabbed by spectral tentacles and yanked through your patron's realm to teleport to a point of your choice within 100 miles that you visited within the past 24 hours.
Jeez.
But 100
that you visited within the past 24 hours. So, or Fury, which is a barrage of spectral tentacles that strike up to 5 creatures within 30 feet of the manifestation point. Dex save or 60-10 cold or lightning damage and knocked prone. On a successful save, half damage and not knocked prone. tentacles then vanish. So, they also introduce a new spell, Mind Sliver. It's a it's a cantrip.
Ooh.
An enchantment cantrip. Intelligence save based. So that's a rare one for that. So that, I mean, automatically makes this pretty cool. Target takes 1d6 damage on a failed save, which increases per normal cantrip progression. And the first time it makes a saving throw before the end of your next turn, it subtracts 1d4 from the rolled number. So it like also includes a bane effect on it for saves.
Wow.
Pretty good.
Yeah. That's like that's really good. And the fact that it's based on intelligence, deals psychic damage, which like isn't resisted a whole lot.
Yeah.
Battle force.
Also only verbal components. No somatic component. So perfect if you're, say, grappled, restrained, bound. Not paralyzed, because you can't really speak when you're paralyzed. So
True.
Yeah. But if you're tied up, or wrapped in a spider web.
I'm glad they're doing some different stuff.
Yeah.
I was watching a Beyond video with Jeremy Crawford talking about this stuff, and he's like, we've kind of got all the basic classes covered and all the basic subclasses covered, so now we can start doing some pretty weird stuff, like the astral monk and this stuff. And
yeah.
See, yeah, we've
I haven't watched
the...
that video, but I did watch this one, and yeah, they're very excited about doing weird, sea monster type stuff.
Yeah.
The weird stuff now comes out.
Yeah, I want this one's kind of touching on it, but I want something that's a lot more cosmic, weird flavored.
I mean, I think the intent for that is meant to be great old one for Warlock. Yeah. Since, I mean, that's meant to be like Elder Gods and Cthulhu and stuff.
What I really want is like more spells. Like new spells that really...
Okay.
Because what do we got? The black tentacles.
Yeah.
What do we got for actual spells that are like kind of weird? I don't know.
Let's find out.
We don't have to go through the whole list, the spell list, but I mean, I just can't think of many that are like that. Like, I like that whole idea.
They'll probably all be Warlock.
Summoning, that was an ability, not a spell, but like summoning a maw from another realm. That would be cool to like spells like or abilities like that. I just want more strange, weird stuff like that.
I mean, Arms of Hadar.
Want more weird stuff.
Yeah.
Blah, 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 Crown of Madness. Hunger of Hadar.
Madness.
Yeah. Yeah, now that you mention it, yeah. They kind of like touched on it a little bit with some of these
There's
weird...
a few. There might be a handful of them in there.
There's really only a handful.
I would just like to see
like after third level, it kind of drops off for Warlocks, where they don't have a whole lot of like cosmic type stuff.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, what you could do and what I would probably do is just take a spell and just change the damage type and like describe it visually differently to make it match that.
Yeah. I mean, let's put it this way. There were definitely spells that did that in 3rd edition. That summoned like, giant like jawbones of things that would like bite things. I think there were druid spells.
Yeah. Like, well, I could take Fireball and say, okay, instead of fire damage, it just like makes this weird rip in reality for a second and like crashes back in on itself and does psychic damage to everybody instead of fire damage.
100%.
There you go. Boom. Same thing. You just describe it differently and you got it.
Yeah. And I mean, there's further balance tweaks you could make by saying like, you don't need to deal as much damage because psychic is not resisted like fire is.
Right.
But yeah, you can easily reskin stuff. I mean, I know, for example, one of like flavor wise, one of my favorite all time spells is called Bone Fiddle, which was a 3rd level bard spell in which you took a violin bow and you proceeded to like motion as if you were playing the violin, and it summoned a spectral violin bow with a serrated like bowstring on it.
Cool.
That you would then saw your target, and it would deal like all sorts of like necrotic damage to them, and like cause fear and stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. Also, Vortex of Teeth. It was you summon a tornado filled with ghostly piranhas.
How about Bone Storm?
Sure. Why not?
Why not?
But Vortex of Teeth was basically summon minor Sharknado.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah. It's perfect. Great. So, yeah. I mean, I don't know. So I'm not a super big fan of the psychic stuff. So and sorcerer isn't like one of my favorite classes. So I don't know about Aberrant Mind sorcerer, but I mean, I really like the flavor for Lurker in the Deep warlock, just because it's all piratey and everything. So I dig that. Yeah. I know there were a lot of folks, so it was one of the few videos that Wizards allowed YouTube comments on, and sure enough, a whole bit like the majority of the comments were just all people going like Ukatawa.
Ukatawa.
And then of course there was like one guy that was like, actually.
Hold on, you have to push your lens.
Yeah, you do.
Actually, Ford is a Hexblade, and that means he draws power from the Shadowfell, and
he's not Hexblade anymore, right?
No, he's not.
So okay.
He's a Paladin.
So I'm not gonna do a well edge. So here's the thing. So he is a multi-class. So spoilers for those that haven't watched Critical Role Season 2 up to the last couple of episodes. But yes, so Ford.
It was very, very, very early in the
Ford,
episode.
multi-class and a paladin. It's not really clear, or no, he doesn't get to pick an oath yet because he's only a level 1 paladin. But he did not give up his previous levels of Hexblade Warlock, so he is a Hexadin, which means sweet ability to like just use paladin weapons now with his charisma modifier for attack and damage rolls. Also, apparently, there's Eldritch Smite, which is, I guess, a thing. It's an invocation, I think, where you get to use Eldritch Blast as Smite. or something like that.
To make it a spicy meatball.
Something. Hang on. I'll find it. But anyway, yeah. But that's like a super cool thing. Eldritch Invocations. Eldritch Smite. Pact of the Blade, which I presume he was Pact of the Blade. So once per turn when you hit a creature with your Pact weapon. It's basically, you can smite by spending Warlock spells. And it's 1d8 force damage, plus another 1d8 per level of the spell slot, and knock the target prone if it's huge or smaller.
It's a big cost because Warlocks don't get a lot of spell slots.
Correct. But they're always at max level.
They are always at max level.
So as a 9th level...
And I think you get them back after a short rest.
You do.
Yeah.
So 9th level Warlock... Let's see.
I think 4 or 5 slots.
I think it's 5, because I think they're like weird, like sort of full casters. Yes, 5th level spell slot. So spending that would be 6d8 force damage on a melee attack, and just auto knocks prone if it's huge or smaller.
Wow.
I just want to reiterate that. Huge.
Huge or smaller.
Yes, bigger than large. So
big.
Which is big. Yes. So, yeah. I dig it. Go, Ford, go. But, yeah. So, once again, I think this is a great Unearthed Arcana. I think this one and the last one, Wizards really knocked it out of the park with the archetypes that they included. So
Oh, yeah.
good on you, Wizards. The question is, when are we going to see these in print? Because then they're super officiales.
Well, they're official enough as far as I'm concerned.
So I don't think they're going to be in the Eberron book. I think it's a little too late for that.
A little too late. When does the next week Avernus book? Right?
Avernus? Yep.
Mhm.
Next week.
Avernus.
Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
Good.
Good. So, all right.
Good.
So that's going to wrap it up for news. We're just going to go really quick through this week in 8-Bit Adventures because I know we're running a bit late and we can get through this pretty quick. Yeah. So, this week in 8-Bit Adventures, folks. All right. So, new comic. Advance, Pillage, Raise. Simple title, simple comic, simple message. Yeah, Krakatoa don't mess around. So, especially concerning given the news we got from last week's comic, which was NPCs no longer respawn. So, dead means dead. Yeah.
That's an issue.
Yeah.
That's
And like
an issue.
I was thinking about it, and I was like, even so let's assume that we're doing Wreck-It Ralph rules, which is the intent. Where like NPCs like that you respawn in your game world kind of a thing, because that's how video games
but if
work.
you die outside of your game world, you did.
Yeah, but they're not. So, I mean, how do you? It essentially presented like a Superman scenario where it's like, how do you actually provide stakes for characters that, like, if they die, they're just like, okay, well, I'll pop back in, after like 10 minutes, kind of a thing. It would be like if the entirety of Wreck-It Ralph happened within the confines of the Wreck-It Ralph game.
Yeah.
So it's very low stakes because it's like, well, where's the danger? So
yeah.
And so this bug that is causing NPCs to not spawn will be related to stuff that we discovered in chapter 1, which was weird little bits of things that like probably shouldn't belong in this game world.
Oh.
So maybe a little bit of corruption, some
the
bugs in
bug
the
is
game code.
Mutating? Is that what I'm hearing? Is that the bug is mutating?
No, it's not. It's not a literal bug like it was in Wreck-It Ralph. These are there are elements of other games that do not belong in this game world that somehow made it across, and because of that cross contamination, is perhaps causing some unintended consequences. So, yeah, yeah, it was nice to do something like that. I haven't really worked a lot with like fire and that kind of stuff. So yeah, it was kind of neat to do that. Also, lots of skeletons, because why not? So, podcasts in the podcast realm. Tales of Jemmora, Kraken's Wake, episode 20. What a complete, absolute disaster that game is, and I love every second of it.
That just hurt my head on so many different levels.
I think it hurt everybody, but perhaps hurt Josh the most.
Not me.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good. That is good. No, I take it back. It definitely hurt Sean the most. Yeah. Poor
Jacobin just wanted to help his damn friend.
Yep.
That's all he wanted to do.
Yep.
And just nothing went right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, per normal for Jacobin?
Jacobin was trying to do things for the right reasons. Maybe about 50-50 on the right things versus the wrong things.
Maybe not the best decisions.
No. Definitely not the best decisions, but the reasoning behind them.
As far as options laid out in front of him, not a whole lot.
Yeah.
And none of them look particularly better than any other one.
See, this is the thing. Like, Courtney the player understands why Jacobin did what he did. May? Yeah, no, you're just a mess up. and everything is your fault always.
Yeah, sure. Twixen goes out on a murder rampage. Jacob
Didn't know
tries to
that.
save him
Didn't know that.
and is like, we're all accessories to his murder rampage now.
Yep.
We need to get out of here.
Yep. You know what? That is fair. That's a fair assessment.
That is 100%. Jacob's like, it doesn't matter what we tell the guards. We're all connected to him. And if he goes down, we're all going down in some way. We need to just leave.
See, I don't want to give too many spoilers, because no.
Well,
No.
Also, we got to see a return of the Leaf Dancer crew.
Yes!
screw Oak Breeze.
Legit. Even more was going on in terms of, okay, how do I bamf out of this?
So the idea is that Leaf Dancer is supposed to kind of fill a similar role to Acquisitions Incorporated, but without the questionable morals. Like, they might be kind of jerks about it, but they actually truly believe in doing the right thing, as opposed to like, yes, we will save your village, but we're going to charge 1,000% markup on it. Also, piece of your soul.
Just a piece, though.
Also, I'm going to, like Omen, I'm going to summon spirit guardians on these gargoyles and then walk them into an elevator. So that way I just turn this elevator into a literal meat grinder. And when I walk out on the bottom floor, they're now a bloody pulp. That happened, folks, on the first episode of the Ravnica arc. Also, yeah, everybody's like, I don't know if Omen's actually really all that good. Whereas, Oak Breeze, those guys, they're good. But, they're also going to let you know. This is the DM creating good aligned rivals.
Are we the bad guys?
This is not a case where there's good guys or bad guys, Courtney. I mean, except for Twixen. Twixen is totally the bad guy. Or was, anyway.
Again, what Courtney knows and what May knows are two very different things.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But
don't worry, folks. So we will definitely get to see more of Twixen, because Sean meant to do one whole, essentially, monologue at the end of last session. But based on the voice that he heard back, immediately panicked and had to switch out of that and completely change up his whole spiel.
His whole everything.
His whole everything. So yeah. And there will be cool, interesting new story arcs, story beats for Twixen, that don't relate to cursed orbs and all that nonsense. Next session.
Ooh.
So.
Oof. That's gonna be that's gonna be rough too. So we'll have to see on the 20th what that brings.
Yes. It'll be cool. Cool. And then as far as 8-Bit Adventures Game Night, played WoW Classic, complained a lot, on brand. Did a lot of auto attacking, and me just like, okay, I'm gonna auto attack. I'm gonna walk away from my computer. I'll come back in a minute when the mob is dead. Because I started at level 1, and that's what you do a lot of at level 1 in WoW Classic. So, I'm gonna be playing it again this week, since the people voted, so I'm gonna give them what they want. Even though, forgot to mention this, patch dropped for Fire Emblem today that included maddening mode.
What's maddening?
Yeah.
Mode?
It's even harder than hard mode.
No, don't want it.
Apparently it is very difficult. That people were like, yeah, I mean, I got a game over a couple times throughout the course of the game on hard mode, but I am consistently failing the tutorial.
I never game overed in hard mode. Only a couple of the battles I thought were somewhat challenging, particularly like the ones towards the end. Other than that, like it for me, it was the right amount of difficulty. There were
See, I
times
don't
where I
like.
felt like I had to think through my moves,
Mm-hmm.
but I never felt like
Yeah.
it was hopeless or like
Um,
I
There's
couldn't win.
also swapping out the voice actor for male Byleth
Oh
because of
yeah.
that whole mess. Byleth has the option to have glasses
Okay.
as like just a facial
Japanese
cosmetic
games,
thing.
sure. Yep. All Japanese
And
games have that.
there's a bunch of items that you get. And the question that I have that I'm gonna have to look up is whether you get those for every game that you start, or if it's just you get them once and then you never get them again. So I'd imagine it would be that you get them like anytime you start a new game, kind of a thing, because they're like the single-use items that like boost your stats.
Okay.
But they're super powerful. One of them, permanent increase to a character that gives them +2 movement.
Oof. That's a lot.
Wow.
That's like, oh, well, that goes to Raphael. Doesn't matter that he's a war master and he's got like 7 movement. Now I want him to be able to move across the whole battlefield and then cast stride on him.
It's like when in Final Fantasy Tactics you would get teleport on people and you just go anywhere on the map on your move.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's I'm definitely feeling the pain where in my first playthrough I had Manuela and Lysithea who both had warp. And then like as Grimoires, they both had like double warp. So I had like 4 uses of warp. And I am not using Manuela this run, so I only have Lysithea. And it's like, oh, all right. Raphael, get in there. Cast stride, run across the battlefield. Do. Taunt all the enemies. That's what I need. There needs to be a taunt mechanic. I would like that. But so anyway, yeah, WoW Classic. I'll be playing it again, questing in Dolinar, the kind of first little town you come across in the Night Elf region. And who knows, maybe, just maybe, I will be able to acquire a pet.
Maybe.
We'll see.
Maybe.
We'll see. So, that's it for this week in 8-Bit Adventures, so let's talk about Questlog. Questlog is where we talk about what sort of nerdy stuff we've been doing this week. So, Courtney, I see what you wrote in the the show notes.
Yep.
We don't have to go
Patch
into it, because basically, to sum it up, Courtney was busy with school stuff, so
Yeah,
nothing.
Courtney started last year of school for my master's, and so prep for, because we got the emails before classes started saying this is due.
Yep.
And so I had homework that I
So
had
just
to
to
do.
keep things short, we'll just
Yeah, Courtney had school.
yeah, Courtney at school. So Josh, WoW Classic.
Yeah.
Where you at?
I right before. Let's see. I got level 36 at like 6:30 tonight.
Okay.
So yeah, doing a lot of Scarlet Monastery stuff right now.
Oh yeah. I think that's one of the best dungeons.
Oh, for sure. It's interesting because it has 4 distinct wings.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like the first dungeon you encounter that's just got a big overall theme and aesthetic that kind of all comes together and kind of has a story that goes throughout it somewhat.
Yeah.
To some extent. It's like one of the first dungeons. Well, I'll lie. Dead Mines was the first dungeon where I was like, this has a cool story to it. Because Dead Mines has a really interesting story as to why it's there and why the Defias guys are doing what they're doing. But this one, like the whole Scarlet Crusade thing is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, Scarlet Graveyard I did. Now I'm doing Library. And I'm about high enough to start running Armory more, go fight Herod.
Nice.
Get his sweet whirlwind axe.
Oh, that's right. Well, and all that gear, right? Because he's got good gear for enhancement shamans.
Well, when I hit 40, yeah, I gotta.
Oh, that's right.
40
Oh, that's right. You and I are gonna have to. Yeah, we'll have to hit level 40 in order to unlock mail armor.
Yeah, I'm still a leather boy. right
That's
now.
so weird for shamans wearing leather, which seems
Yeah.
weird to say. Cause
And I didn't realize that shamans can't dual wield in Classic. That was a Burning
that's why you
Crusade
got
thing.
that's why you got to two-hand everything.
Oh, I do. I got my Corpse Maker from RFK, and I'll be getting that Ravager from Herod when I get it.
Nice.
So yeah, I mean it's slow going, particularly now with work. I can get a couple hours, maybe an hour and a half a day, so maybe a dungeon run or two, get some quests done.
Yeah.
Maybe get half a level in, but it's again, I'm playing with a group of people that I really enjoy playing with, so that's really the fun of it. It's honestly not the game itself. I will say one other thing that I've noticed. So the main thing that's actually good about the game is the social aspect, and you're kind of forced to some extent to kind of be friendly and work together with people, and people just in general seem more friendly and willing to help each other. At least that's the feeling I get while I'm playing. So like that's the one main thing that I feel is good. The other thing I've noticed is, and I was reading about it on Reddit yesterday or today, is it feels a lot more like a D&D campaign than retail does to me. So like
Okay.
quests, I don't know, maybe it's just like the feeling that you're just some scrub Joe Schmo running around the world and you're not the champion of the world like you are in retail.
I know. I can certainly see that from doing like the Night Elf starting quests, where it was like, you will need to, if not learn, then relearn the history of our people. Go to these moon wells, fill them up with water, and you will learn what it is to be a night elf, kind of a thing. And like, here's why we are the way we are, kind of a thing. So yeah, and I feel like that's like that could be something that if they decided to like take another pass at questing in retail, that they could revamp it.
Yeah, and like the guy who wrote the post was like, just the way things are set up in the world feel like they're placed there for a reason,
Yeah.
and not just because like, oh, this would be the most efficient like questing route if we put all the quests in this area. It's like, no, it feels like this little camp of NPCs is here for a reason, and this cave is kind of here for a reason. And yeah, there's a lot of like, get 17 boar asses for me, please, quests. But besides like those ones, there's a lot of quests that just kind of feel like there's a story and a point to it, and just like a little story maybe for what's going on in that area, that little area of that zone in the world. So it just feels like the guys who initially designed the game and made the game just put a lot of love and thought into it. And then like it, some guy showed a Twitter reply. He was talking about this, and Metson's like, yeah, we did. Like we really, like it's just we loved those types of like role playing games, and we really wanted to make it feel like that initially. And retail doesn't, for me, doesn't feel like that. I mean, you're just like, you're the champion of Azeroth and you're doing whatever and you're fighting side by side with all the other heroic figures of the world. And
Yeah.
in,
I mean,
in Classic, you're just some scrub, and it's like, oh, you occasionally see Thrall at his throne, or maybe you see some legendary person for a second, but you're not like always doing stuff directly for them.
Yeah,
You're
I mean, what I also
like
think the comparison
whatever.
with D&D though that I find interesting is the fact that, I mean, D&D kind of has this problem too, is that like when you get up to 20th level,
right,
it's like,
so other people had written like,
who can challenge me?
So, and people were saying, yeah, retail is like that feeling of, yeah, you're 20th level.
You are epic level
You're basically
D&D.
a demigod. You're basically a demigod right now.
We're basically gods. We can do what we want. Yeah.
Pretty much.
So I think what might be interesting is if Blizzard acknowledged that and they leaned into it. And then, I mean, you know, maybe the nature of the game in retail changes to accommodate the fact that like you are a demigod.
Well, it kind of already is. Right?
I mean, in terms of like,
you're flying a spaceship around to fight demons on other planets.
Well, yeah, but I mean, maybe like
these ancient old gods at the bottom of the ocean in an ancient city, along with like the greatest archwizard of all time is fighting. You're fighting against the greatest archwizard of all time on a frozen patch of ocean.
Yeah,
it's like.
But I mean, those are story beats. I'm thinking like even in terms of like game mechanics. Excuse me, where it's like, you know, maybe thinking of like more of like a mythical type thing. Like what do demigods do in mythical settings and maybe incorporating some of that into Warcraft. So I don't know. Maybe you know that the newest thing is like that people start to believe in you and you accumulate belief kind of a thing, and you can spend it to do different things. I don't know. This is all weird.
No, it's interesting. And you kind of get that because you get followers, right? In your base or whatever. So you kind of get that.
I will confess
would
that's
like
also
if they went...
that's also one of my favorite things about D&D is accumulating followers and henchmen.
I don't know. So again, it goes to like it's a thing I like of the feeling of a smaller contained story.
But yeah,
right. I say that a lot of times, and WoW Classic kind of feels more like that, and it gets away from that a little bit as you get to max level, because then you're going to like Molten Core and Onyxia. But even then, Onyxia kind of feels like a small thing because it's like, oh, this dragon has been hiding in the court as an advisor this whole time, and now you got to go.
Like,
take her
whoa,
out.
we killed one dragon.
Yeah, exactly.
We're like, heroes.
Exactly, and it's like, holy crap, we did this big. This is a big deal.
And then we killed Nefarian. Man, we killed 2 dragons. We're the greatest heroes of Azeroth.
And then in Cataclysm, you literally fight zombie versions of them both at the same time.
Yes.
That is literally a boss fight in Cataclysm. Onyxia and Neltharion, same time.
And I think isn't that like the first raid?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
and then at the end you fight Big Daddy Deathwing.
Yeah.
Like we defeated the dragon that kills other dragons. Greatest heroes of Azeroth.
Yeah. So I mean, so that's just another like I get that aspect of it where it just I don't know. There is a bit of a feeling of containment and like it is a more of like it's Classic's the journey and not so much the destination, I guess.
Yeah, I can see that.
Whereas retail is
let's put it this way.
Like
it's going to have to be
and do the thing.
Since I mean, in theory, there's no new content coming out for it. That it's kind of going to have to be about the journey.
So I'm curious to see once I get to level 60 to see what it feels like to play the game when you've done everything and then you're just okay. I'm waiting for this week's raid, right?
Yep.
I can't imagine myself trying to level another character.
I'm curious to see because obviously they have metrics as to like how many people are playing, retail versus classic or whatever. And I think maybe not in the next expansion, but maybe the expansion after. Because I'm sure they're going to do that. They're going to keep releasing expansions. Or maybe even just like...
Oh, yeah.
Maybe it will be the next expansion.
There's already been leaks for the next expansion.
Okay.
Theories and leaks, yeah.
But I'm just thinking of like, what lessons are they going to take for retail from Classic? And see like, okay, well, I mean, who knows? Maybe, in theory, there could be more people playing Classic at this point than retail.
Oh, I'm pretty sure there are.
I mean, probably.
Yeah,
maybe.
I would say so.
I think but for them to look at and say like, okay, what are we going to do? Like, what changes can we make? I know, I mean, they were talking about a level squish, and doing that, which I don't know if that would help really. I mean, it would certainly help from like a leveling standpoint.
Here, listen to this. Here's the theory or the leak of what the next expansion is going to be.
Yeah.
So
yay.
Sylvanas was actually a good guy the whole time.
Hate it.
Everything exactly. So it's very an Illidan kind of thing. So the last basically I forget what it was. The last fight, everyone just dies in the whole world. You all die. And Sylvanas was like, "Yep, I was doing this on purpose so we can all go to the shadow world and fight the actual evil. And the next expansion, we're all just dead."
That's dumb. That's such a dumb idea.
Why?
Yeah.
Like seriously.
Well, like we all go back to Helheim.
Not exact. So yeah, Sylvanas has been working with Hela the whole time because there's some bigger threat to Azeroth.
I don't know.
And the only way she could fight it was that if she could find a way to get everybody to fight each other and basically kill each other. Like the last raid is just Alliance versus Horde. After Ajara, the last raid is actually Alliance versus Horde, and it's the invasion of Stormwind. And at the end, like you're either fighting Sylvanas or Anduin, depending on what side you're on.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end, like everybody dies, and it's just Sylvanas and Anduin at the very end, and they kill each other, and everyone's dead. And then Sylvanas was like, "Yeah, this was the plan the whole time for us all to be dead, so we can do whatever against the shadow, whatever." That's the current theory.
God, that's such a stupid idea.
It's
Yeah,
it's
I'm with Sean
it's
on that.
it's ballsy. I'll give
I
it
mean,
that.
yeah. But I
I'll
mean,
say
there's like
that
there's
much.
there's a million other ways that you could do that. Like, because that completely throws out the entirety of like the whole thing that the Void Elves are doing. Like, I mean, it kind of throws out like the whole plot with Vol'jin.
Well, so right, so something about like Vol'jin's like already in that state of death-ish or whatever.
Yeah,
So like every like I don't know, important people are kind of already there. I don't know.
but like it's implied that he's that because like he turned into a Loa.
Right.
So now it's like, so wait, so non-trolls can become Loa now? Like, what?
So I don't know, and I don't know the details of it, and I'm kind of just riffing it from what I remember from watching a thing.
I mean, if they're gonna do that, everybody in Azeroth dies. Who is the one person that is not on Azeroth that could fix this whole situation then?
Illidan.
Bingo. That's just...
And Illidan comes back. He's like, "This was actually my plan the whole time."
Illidan's just like, yeah, I beat Sargeras. I'm coming for old gods. Just everybody plays Illidan.
I need to destroy the Sunwell again or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. So
I don't know.
Yeah. No, what I think, or, you know, they do maybe they essentially do another Cataclysm type thing of like a Final Fantasy 14 scale where they're just like, okay, here's how we're gonna do WoW 2. We're just gonna blow everything up.
True.
I mean, I think a great thing to do is you just say, okay, this the only way to settle this, like once and for all, is to destroy Azeroth. And we got to go somewhere else.
Allegedly, like N'Zoth and all the old gods are next expansion. They're not.
I mean, that
N'Zoth
would make
isn't
sense.
the end of this one. N'Zoth is like, and apparently all the other old gods are just sleeping down at the bottom of the ocean too.
Yep.
Even ones we already beat.
I mean, I've seen the end of the current raid cinematic.
Yeah.
That whole thing is dumb too.
I watched it briefly. It's like, oh,
the Heart of
played in
Azeroth.
my hand.
So spoilers, Heart of Azeroth was the key that I needed all along, and
Yeah,
Magni was
exactly.
being manipulated. And now we've unleashed N'Zoth,
Good job.
who only needed Ajara to lure heroes to her palace in the first place.
Okay, sure.
Everything's just dumb.
I mean, again, we're at that scale of like,
Yep.
what do you even do at this point, kind of?
Mechagon.
Oh,
Junker
that's what it was.
Gnomes.
Here's what it was. Everybody
Oh, jeez.
dies except
Except-
Gaslow,
Oh god, except everybody on Mechagon.
Gallywix, and who's the goblin leader and the gnome leader?
So Gallywix is the goblin leader.
Gallywix
And Mechatork,
who's currently frozen or something.
I don't know.
Yeah,
it's
that's
Horde
what it was.
thinks
That
he's
was the other
dead.
thing. They're the only two that survive, and like a handful of others, and they go and like invent some machine so people can like go back and forth between the dead and undead, the dead realm and the real world. And that like the allegedly Tinkerer is going to be the new class next expansion.
I have heard that.
Yeah. I don't know.
Just change the name to World of Tinycraft. Now everybody must play as goblins and gnomes.
Everybody dies except goblins and gnomes.
Yep. It's all your characters now permanently changed to goblins and
I gotta
gnomes.
practice my roleplay for keep it real.
I got what you need.
Goblin products are built to blast.
So, okay. Good lord, this is all. Yeah, I don't know about a lot of that stuff. I know Tinker is kind of theorized.
That'd be kind of cool, actually. It'd be interesting to see what they do with that.
Yeah, I want to see except them come back from the. I want to see like like future goblins and gnomes come back to the past and say like, oh no, we got to prevent the future from happening. And that's how we get Tinkers.
It's just Terminator.
Yeah, basically Terminator. So, yeah. So as far as me this week, Minecraft. Basically got back into Minecraft and since I now have a souped up computer, installed some new shaders, HD textures and all that stuff. Having a pretty good time. Nice. I will say, all these stupid websites that have the custom shaders and everything, you need to get like legit services for hosting content. Stop using AdFly. Because that thing, I'm like 2 for 2 for like trying to click out of a thing and accidentally getting malware. Because things are stupid. So, but yeah, anyway, as far as actually in game, yeah, I think Minecraft is a case where graphics do matter. And how like a good graphics pack can dramatically change the game. So yeah, I found diamonds the other day, and that's like kind of the big point at which like you really get going in the game. The only problem is I only found enough diamonds to craft a pickaxe, which I need to find more diamonds so I can get an enchantment table. So, but yeah, haven't found any dogs yet. That's my next goal. Find dogs. But I've got chickens, pigs, sheep, sugarcane,
Did you find
pumpkins.
any ocelots to turn them into cats?
No, I have not found any ocelots yet. I haven't encountered a
Revolver Ocelot from Metal Gear?
Yes.
No, ocelots are
they're
in
little
the
cats
jungle,
with pistols.
and you feed them fish, and then they turn into cats.
So essentially, if you go to a jungle, if you go to a jungle biome, there's wild cats, which they call ocelots, because they're based on ocelots or whatever. And yeah, when you feed them fish, you domesticate them, and they turn into cats, and they follow you back to your house.
Yeah.
Where they proceed to sit on everything useful and prevent you from using it.
Yes.
They should
Like
all have
real
the face
cats.
of. They should all have the face of Revolver Ocelot.
I'm sure there's a mod that does that.
They should all just go, "You're pretty good. You're pretty good.
Yeah.
You're pretty good."
Also, creepers are afraid of cats. So, like, if you wanna protect your house, just have like 40 cats wandering around, and creepers won't come near it.
Become a crazy cat lady or a crazy cat dude.
Yep. Dogs, on the mean hand, creepers aren't afraid of them, but dogs will go out and actually attack creepers.
They'll straight up attack.
Like, I'm gonna bite you. Arr. So,
arr, arr, arr.
But yeah, I gotta find dogs. So I've been saving up bones to feed them, to get them to like me. I have a horse. Don't have a hitching post, so I don't take my horse anywhere because I'm afraid I'll lose him. So yeah.
Yeah, this isn't Stardew Valley. You can't just leave your horse and it will eventually wander home.
Correct. I actually let my horse out once, and it just started like sliding, like not galloping, but just sliding across the ground into the woods. And I'm like, no, come back. My house is in the dark woods. We can't just wander off. Skeletons are out there. So, and then also played some Smash Brothers. So I had Tuck over, Matt Tucker, player of Seraph, over last week. And we played some Smash. So played Banjo, the hero. Who else? Whoever some of the new characters are for the DLC. Not Joker, though. We didn't play Joker. God, why can I not think of it? But basically, like a bunch of the newer characters like that. So yeah, Banjo's cool, difficult to use. Hero's cool, difficult to use. I tell you, that down special where it brings up the menu of abilities and you're just like, oh my god, I gotta pick one. Makes for really fun gameplay. And you're just like, oh no. Yeah, and it will give you totally different effects. Real hero players pick Abracadabra every time. Because that's the I'm gonna do a random spell skill. So it's not even just, I'm just going to pick the top one and hope for the best. This is, I'm going to intentionally pick something and have no effect, and have no ability to control the outcome. Who knows? Might Kamikaze, might Axeman, or Hatchet Man, or whatever it's called. which is like you just swing an axe over your head, but it deals massive damage and like has super knockback. It's great. So, yeah, digging that. So it turns out all of the DLC characters come with their own spirit battles, so that's cool. So
Cool.
Joker had a bunch of Persona-related spirit battles. Banjo comes with his own set of spirit battles, so you can unlock Mumbo, Bottles. Is it Tootie? I think is Banjo's
I have no
sister.
idea.
Banjo's little sister. Gruntilda is a spirit battle, so you unlock them as spirits. I'm super excited. The only thing that can make me more excited is if Gruntilda was just like a boss character in the game, like they do with like Bowser and Rathalos and a bunch of other Smash stuff. And then the hero had a bunch of Dragon Quest related stuff, so that was cool. So
Nice.
also Tetris 99. Been playing that, doing the daily challenges. Got first place last night and my first game that I played, so that was cool. And just if you can get the chance to, if you play Tetris 99 and you like Fire Emblem, get yourself that Fire Emblem theme, because they just the way they essentially remixed all the battle themes from Fire Emblem 3 Houses, depending on like how far along you are in a match, is
cool.
just really great. So, and Fodlan Wins is just a really good track. So that alone's worth it. All right. We finished up a little late, but thank you for sticking with us, folks. We are going to wrap things up here. So if you want to see more content from 8-Bit Adventures, please be sure to check out 8-bitadventures.com. If you want to help support that content, you can consider becoming a sub here on Twitch during September, where tier 1 subs are half price. Or if you have Amazon Prime, you can please consider using your Twitch Prime subscription for this channel. You can also become a patron at patreon.com/8bitadventures. Over there, you can get stuff like exclusive comics and early access to other content. And you can do that for as little as $1 a month. Our opening theme is One Up by Professor Shy Guy. You can find his awesome work over at professorshyguy.bandcamp.com. And with that, we are done. So thank you for joining us, everyone. And without further ado, have fun, happy gaming, and enjoy your pie cake.
Bye, everybody.
Ric Flair, baby!